In this video, we're going to talk about the benefits of being a construction worker. Now that might seem a little funny because you've probably been told by your parents to go get a four-year college education, which is great, by the way. All of you college-educated homies on the back side of this video, I love you. But there are both options. And so if you want to come be a construction worker, I'm going to tell you why it's the cat's meow. And you'll know why this is not a trap, but actually a career springboard. You'll know immediately how far you can go in construction, what benefits you should really analyze and pay attention to when you're making your decision, and what one thing you'll have that most people don't have, that if you become a construction worker, you'll have. Boy, that was redundant, but you'll have it. All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about why you want to be a construction worker. Well, first of all, let me give you my background. I have been in construction for 25 years. I did not go to college. I don't think there's anything wrong with college, but I worked my way from being a laborer to an equipment operator to a form setter to a rodman or rod person to a field engineer and then up through the ranks. I have been able to be partners in owning a business. I do that now. I'm president of Elevate Construction and Lean Tact, and I've been able to be a project director and a field operations director in my career, which are super cool positions, in addition to general superintendent, senior superintendent, and a number of other roles. And so that all happened without a college degree, starting out as a worker. So let me tell you a story real quick. The person that I'm talking about, if you hear this video, forgive me, I love you, I got nothing but positive feelings, but this really happened. I love the person I'm telling it about, but the story is indicative of our current mindset. All right, so there was a kid at church that was like, hey, Jay Money, what if I came and worked in construction? Is there a way to become a field engineer or, do some of these cool things? I'm looking at a career in construction. I said, dude, you called the right place. I know, not only am I self-proclaimed one of the best at field engineering in the US, but I know a lot of people and a lot of opportunities. I said, if you get into construction, you can start as a laborer, work your way into being a carpenter, work your way into some other specific trade, and then work into being a field engineer probably. And I think I said 6 months, worst case, couple of years, whatever. I was like, it's great. You get to go out, work with your hands, you learn a trade. And the exact response was, I did a little bit of summer jobs in my high school days, and I think I'm above that now. I think I've put in my time. The other thing is I want to go to school and be an engineer, not really have to work that hard and make a lot of money. So I'll pass. Thank you though, Jason. I appreciate that. Now, love engineers, love college educations. But the fact of the matter with this specific instance is this. The engineering field that he was talking about going into would take a 4-year degree. That's 20 grand to 80 grand worth of college, either payments or debt. Totally fine with that because I love college, but that's a fact. That's a delay in getting started in the profession. That's at least 2 years of internship. That's starting out somewhere between $45,000 and $50,000 a year and working up to an average of $85,000, $95,000, $100,000 a year. And these engineers specifically in that field work a lot of Saturdays and Sundays and a lot of overtime and don't have a very good work-life balance. Not only are they stuck behind desks doing consistent things, there's very little opportunity for growth because in these firms there's more engineers than there are opportunities for leadership and directors within the organization. Totally fine, love them. If you're watching this video and that's you, I'm not bad-mouthing you at all. But let's do a comparison. You go into construction and you work as a laborer, a finisher, a form setter, a carpenter, whatever. You start out making a little bit of money. Maybe you're making $14, $18 an hour, but you start making good money, right? You get good hours, you learn a trade, and then after at least a maximum, I'd say at least 6 months at the very minimum, right? You're going to have an opportunity to go ask for additional opportunities. Maybe it's lead person, maybe it's foreman, maybe it's going to be working as an assistant field engineer, project engineer, and then you can really work your way through those trades. I remember this was 15 years ago, they did a study that a project manager in construction, after 16 years, and this was back before inflation, back before the increase in pay, pay has increased by 50%, meaning it used to be here it increased, the average pay for these positions increased by 50%. 15 years ago, they said a project manager in construction at 16 years on average would make $260,000 a year by the time you took their bonuses and their stock and the rest of their benefits. And that's minimum. I know people that make much more than that. And I know people that come into construction, start their own business. They come do a side hustle. They're directors of construction companies. The sky's the limit. Or they even go into a different profession because they've learned those organizational skills. So if you compare those two paths and you really look at it, not only is the timeline possibly more attractive if you considered also, in addition to college, the worker path, but also you now have a trade which you can always fall back on. And now you have the opportunity to enter a field that has a wide range, such a more dynamic range of pay scales and opportunities. This is a stepping stone. You can do anything if you have a growth mindset and commit yourself to learning. And so I just want to say, if you want to be a construction worker, here's some things to consider. See all these buildings? Well, it's not in here. Anyway, but like as you're driving around, you see the buildings. You can walk around and bore the crap out of your kids and say, I helped build that. Not only is there a sense of pride, but if you like doing things with your hand and building things and getting a little bit dirty in the mud, if you're one of those kids that played it with the Tonka toys out there in the mud and drove your parents crazy and ruined the carpet, then this may be your industry. Second, this is a trade that you can always fall back on. Like for me, I know how to do concrete and I'm a darn good finisher. If anything ever happened, I know I could start a side hustle, a permanent business, or go to work doing any of those trades and make money. How many people out there go, oh, let me give you some statistics. And again, I'm not bad-mouthing college, this is data. Similar things can happen to you in the trades, by the way. It's not all rosy on one side or the other. But for college graduates, 75% of people that graduate college do not actually enter a profession that they went to school for. And in that 25%, only half that do enjoy it. So you have to understand what you're getting into. And so if you end up in that position and don't have a trade to fall back on, I have seen that many times put people in some very awkward situations. I personally, and the people that I work with, I can name Kevin Rice, the COO of our company, Kate Schroeder, the CEO of our company. They have trades and professions that they can fall back on. Kate with electrical work, Kevin with being a superintendent in construction, doing concrete remodels, and all varieties of construction at any time could start a business or go back and do that work. And so they have what many people don't. They have a fallback. They have a trade. They have a skill, which will come in handy or could come in handy at one point. Could be very beneficial for you. The other thing is you can progress to any position, like I said. If you work your way through construction, you go to a trade school, you come right in. If you have a growth mindset and really dedicate yourself to learning, you can go anywhere. And let me also say that you can go anywhere and watch as many videos as you want if you subscribe to this channel. And so in light of the growth mindset, do you have a question or a comment or something that you want to leave on this video to further grow in your career? Please give it to us in the comments below. The other thing is you get to build things. The other thing is my wife always teases me. I'm like, hey, does anybody have a first aid kit? Because these puppies are sick. Like, you know, like, come on, that's not funny. She's not laughing at the joke. But like these, like I do not have the arms that I used to do. I used to be like stacked. Like I used to be finished concrete, really strong, really good upper body strength. Now I look like a middle-aged, older white man. It's not. I've got a dad body, right? Like if you're in the trades, if you're a worker, you've at least got like a good 5-10 years of being strong and impressing your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your spouse. So like I would just say you are able to really have a good experience with your body, be physically fit. It's really some good benefits there. And like I said, you get to build things. So I've totally undersold this. Like it is so cool. The construction industry has been so good to me. It has taken care of me, my family, so many opportunities to grow. I've gotten so much training. I've always been challenged and interested. Please don't fall for the misconception that you can only go to college to be successful. Come into the trades, come be a worker, come make a difference. Keep learning. It's not important where you get the learning from. It's important that it's quality and that you get it on a continual basis. And so my invitation is keep this as an option because it can be an awesome springboard in your career. I'm going to leave you with a link down below. I'm going to leave you with a link to Elevating Construction Foreman and Elevating Construction Superintendents and a couple of podcasts on how you can really get your career started off. If you read these books and you enjoy them, you might consider applying because you can have a remarkable experience in this industry. I'll also give you a link to a book called The Field Engineering Methods Manual. Read chapters 1 through 8, and if that interests you and you're like, yes, this is me, then I encourage you to come in, whether it's through college or as a worker, and get started in a career that I think you'll find challenging and rewarding. And again, it's up to you. Please keep it as an option, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.